Hello everyone, and welcome to the Alteryx Designer demo for Excel users. To insert Excel assets into Alteryx, we can simply open File Explorer and drop them onto the Alteryx canvas. Dependent upon the file type, it's going to prompt you for a particular sheet. Now typically when working with data in Excel, it's very difficult to understand both the quality and profiling challenges you're going to experience. By adding a browse tool within Alteryx, we're able to get immediate feedback on both of those topics. Using the color coding chart here at the bottom, we're able to identify any leading or trailing white space, null or empty values, as well as fields that are completely populated. We're then able to dive a little bit deeper by clicking on the field headers and seeing a simple count of the values within that particular field. Now, once you've ran through your various different data quality and profiling challenges, we're able to prepare that information. Now, typically within Excel, you're going to be able to hide fields that you no longer need for your analysis. Within Alteryx, we have something very similar through the Select tool. Within this tool, you're also able to change the data type as well as rename and reorder fields. Now, one of the nice features of Alteryx is getting immediate feedback on the changes you're making to the data. So here we can click on the left and the right hand side, and we can see at the bottom how our data is changing. Within our assets file, we might also want to go ahead and build out some business logic. So using the formula tool here, we can update or we can create brand new fields such as individual value. We can then come into the section here below and we can type out field headers of interest. Alteryx will also search its library of functions. We'll then be able to use Excel type syntax to be able to build out our business logic. We can again go ahead and give it a numerical value, and once we run the workflow, we can see that we have our brand new field. Now we have multiple rows for a particular customer in this instance. When we look to blend our two sources of information together, we want to ensure that they're unique and don't have any duplicates. To be able to deduplicate datasets in Alteryx, we can utilize a tool called the Summarize tool. We can group by our customer ID, and we can come to our individual value and do numerical operations such as sums, minimum, maximum, as well as counts to help us identify essentially the number of assets for this individual, the minimum and maximum value they have, as well as the total value as well. So again, once we run the workflow, we're now able to see a unique list for each of our customers in our assets database. Now, if we're looking to blend this information together, you might be more familiar with this as a VLOOKUP. You'll see within our search functionality at the top right-hand side that you can put in Excel terminology and instantly get Alteryx tools that do that specific job. So we can now connect up our assets file and we connect up our customers file, and we can then choose customer ID from the left and customer ID from the right. Now we're able to see on the right hand side of our join tool that we're able to get information that our VLOOKUP can provide within the join or within the J, so customer 10 and customer 10. However, on the left hand side of this join, we're able to see all the information which existed in our assets file but did not exist within our customers file. This is hugely advantageous for a lot of enterprises, both reducing human error and time when doing a lot of reconciliation reporting. Now at this particular point in time, you might want to output this information. So here we can use an output tool, click file. We can go ahead and push this, for example, to a CSV. We can give it a name and hit save. So now once we run this workflow, this particular information is constantly going to get pushed to this particular file. Now, one of the nice features of Alteryx is the ability to not stop at one point, but to continue with the analysis. So now what we might want to do is further transform this data through using our crosstab and our transpose tools to be able to pivot this data. So using the crosstab tool, we can drag this into the canvas. Click on the left-hand side so we can see the data. We can choose customer segment. We can come down to customer type. And as the value that populates the table, we can use total value. So again, once we run this workflow, we can now go from a very granular data set to start breaking out snapshots of the data for reporting. So now we have our customer segment broken down onto different rows, and we have our various different customer types here as fields. So one of the final steps is we might want to automate a bit of reporting within Alteryx. So coming into the reporting category here, we can use our charting and our table tool. Using our table tool here, we can build out any column or row rules. And finally here we can go ahead and render this directly to Excel. However, often what happens within enterprises is that they'll produce Excel sheets and then they'll go ahead and create attachments within emails. Within Alteryx, you can seamlessly go ahead and directly push in an email tool, put in the information of a particular individual or a particular group of people. We can add a summary, and then we can actually attach the table as an asset within the body of the email. So now once we run the workflow, we're able to not only go ahead and push out some reconciliation reporting, but we're able to actually push out the end report as well, which you can see here down at the bottom. Now, if you're interested in looking at different functionality within Alteryx for Excel users, you can come to community.alteryx.com, come to the Academy page and interactive lessons, and you'll see here that it breaks down the various different assets that we have for various different Excel functionality within Alteryx.